Hello, everybody. This is Princess, and I invite you to come sit and talk with me. Hi, welcome to the program. Welcome to the newest podcast in town. And let me just say that I am in a dream state right now, like really. I am just so happy that finally, after a year of really thinking about it, you know what, I've been planning to create a podcast just a year ago, year 2019, and it took me a year to finally win against my doubts, my frustrations, my hesitations and all. And I was like, you know what, whatever, let's do this. And here we are. You're listening to the first episode of the podcast. It's amazing, isn't it? And if you push through at least 50 seconds of this audio, that already means so much to me. Thank you for being here. And of course, for the first episode of my podcast, I'd like also to share my podcast story, what I've learned along the way while I launched this podcast. And just I said a while ago, there were hesitations, there were doubts also, like what if this fail and such. And I would like to share that story to you. And somehow, maybe you can get a little lesson and motivation from this podcast. But before anything else, if you're not familiar with podcasting or you haven't heard of this industry at all, let me just give you a short overview. Basically, this is just a radio-like platform where we talk, where we also listen to other speakers. We call them podcasters around the globe. This is a platform where they talk about a topic that they wish to discuss, like what they're advocating to, most especially what they are passionate about. Some podcasters also focuses on social trends and social issues and just for self-development and personal development. For this little podcast that I am launching, the Sit and Talk, is just a very light program where I talk about my struggles as a 22-year-old kid and the lessons that I have learned along the way. Because I believe even as young as 10, or if you're 18, or if you're as experienced as 80-year-old or something, there will always be a unique story that you have, unique experience that you have, or a lesson that is worth sharing, and of course, worth listening to. And that is also one of my realizations when I started to have a podcast, because one of my doubts was like, I'm just a 22-year-old kid. What can I give? What can I speak about? What can I advocate about? And how can I motivate all these people? I'm just a 22-year-old kid. So that was my realizations. All of us has something to share on. And the second lesson, or the second reason why this Sit and Talk podcast is here, because this is my way of embracing my voice. Because I tell you, I also struggle with a lot of criticisms and hates about my voice. Although some of you may find my voice, like there were friends that keep on telling me that my voice is cool and amazing. I don't know if they're just telling that because they're my friends, but thank you so much, no? But there are also people who tell me that my voice is annoying and it's too sexy and it's very childish, and it's not just their cup of tea. So I tried to take it constructively. I tried to change my natural voice and modulate it to be bigger. And I speak also on radios, on personal conversations. Imagine that. I even practiced once in a while in the mirror how to say something so common and not do it annoyingly. But later, I grew tired. I came to a point where I do not know already what's natural of me. I start doubting myself and I was really frustrated. But I realized later on that you don't really have to change what's natural of you so that you will be accepted. Because those who accept you will not demand you of something that you are not. And if you have to change your shape just to belong, don't. Because you do not belong there in the first place. Do you want to be in some place where you do not belong? No, right? So Be who you are, embrace what is natural of you, and you will see there will always be places and people that accept who you are, who you really are. And that's my second realization in this podcast. And the third thing is, I just recently realized that if you're thinking about doing something that you love, like you want to start your small business, you want to start vlogging, or even a podcast like this, like I've been there. There were so many doubts, like, what if it won't work out? What if no one will buy my products? What if no one will listen to my podcast? What if no one will view or watch my vlogs? And what if I fail? And so on and so forth. The endless what ifs continues. And you also have this idea, no, that there were a time like I was thinking like, everyone's doing this already. Everyone is starting a podcast. Everyone is starting to vlog, and everyone's starting also this kind of business that I have on my mind. And I think you have thoughts about that too. But I tell you, to answer that question, there will always be the same business idea as you. There will always be someone who has the same content as you. But I tell you, they will never be you. And that's your uniqueness. You can run a business uniquely as you. You can run a vlog uniquely as you. And you can have a podcast and share your unique experiences. So if you're really thinking of like doing a podcast, go ahead. There is this beautiful girl with the same mindset that I have. And I really like this girl because she also advocate about mental health, and she DM'd me and she said like, Ate, I was really thinking about doing a podcast like this, and but I doubt if I can or something. There's so many reasons and doubts that I too have felt it. But to that girl and to all of our aspiring podcasters like me, I am also starting. Please just take that one little step. Just release that first episode. Release that trailer. Release and post online your products. Just release that vlog that you have been editing for a month or a year. And you know what? It's better to take one step than none at all. And you will be amazed like, oh, I'm one step closer towards something that I love doing. So go out there, take up space, because your life matters. Your existence matters. And you just matter because you occupy space and have mass. You know what? Just do it, okay? If you're looking for a sign, go do it. Go do something that you're really passionate about, okay? And for the last thing that I have learned on making this podcast is, it's just so nice when you hear someone struggling with the same struggle that you are currently struggling, and it's like a relief. Oh, I'm not alone in this battle. I'm not the only one who experiences this kind of struggle. And by listening to how they surpassed to that seemed to be a big problem, it feels like the bravery or the courage is passed through to you, thinking that if he made it through that tunnel alive, then why can't I? I remember Paul says in 2 Corinthians 1:3, he described God as the God of all comfort. We know that. And God is the God who comforts us in times of troubles, so we could also comfort others with the same comfort that we received from God. It's like, okay, I'm having troubles right now, and God is comforting me throughout this painful experience. And I have to remember every detail of it, because I have the responsibility to also share this comforting experience that I have received from God to people who might be struggling the same thing, because this will help them too. See, even troubles has its reasons why we need to endure it, why we need to experience it. And that is to share to others that there is hope beyond all of this painful experience. And if we have God in our lives, there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel. So there is always hope when we live our life with the Lord. And that is my podcast story. I hope you have gotten something from this podcast. And if you do have like a quotable quote from this podcast, tag me on your stories or your post, or you can message me or something. It will be a reward for me. Thank you so much. That would be my first episode, my podcast story. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you if you have listened at the end of this video. Thank you so much. This has been Princess for the Seed and Talk. Until next time.